You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life.
The woman accusing Jay-Z of sexually assaulting her more than 20 years ago when she was 13 is speaking out, and she admits there are inconsistencies in her story.
She's looking for money and fame, releasing a new statement overnight calling for the claims to be actually dismissed.
In a significant turn of events, the woman who recently accused Shawn Jay-Z Carter and Shawn Diddy Combs of misconducting her in 2000 when she was 13 years old has acknowledged inconsistencies in her allegations. This development has introduced complexities into the legal proceedings and may potentially impact the cases against both music moguls.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet, but it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
The accuser, whose identity remains confidential, filed a civil lawsuit alleging that Jay-Z and Diddy misconducted her at an after-party following the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. She claimed to have traveled from her home in Rochester to New York City, attended the awards show by watching a jumbotron outside the venue, and later accompanied a limousine driver to a party at a large white residence with a U-shaped driveway where the alleged misconduct occurred.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury.
In a recent interview, the accuser admitted to certain discrepancies in her account. She acknowledged errors in identifying the location of the alleged misconduct and the individuals present. For instance, she initially stated that members of the band Good Charlotte were witnesses. However, it was later revealed that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time and not present at the 2000 MTV VMAs.
He says that she spoke with musician Benji Madden and his brother Joel at the after-party. Benji is married to actress Cameron Diaz.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
But in a statement, the Madden brothers say they did not attend the 2000 VMAs. Inside Edition found this document establishing that on September 7th, 2000, the night of the VMAs, the Maddens were giving a concert at the Vic Theater in Chicago.
Additionally, the accuser's father, whom she claimed had driven 5 hours to pick her up from New York City after the incident, does not recall making such a trip. Furthermore, permits and photographs from that night indicate there was no jumbotron outside the VMAs, contradicting her statement about watching the event from outside the venue.
The woman also claims after the alleged assault, she ran to a gas station and called her father, who drove 5 hours from Rochester, New York, to pick her up and return home. But NBC says when they contacted her father, he says he can't recall the incident. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. The woman filing the lawsuit against Jay-Z says it is possible that her father doesn't remember.
One of the things that stood out to me, Phil, was her father. Her father was also contacted by the news media because in her interview, she says her dad picked her up from Shawn Diddy Combs' home after the rape, she said, that occurred after, she said, Jay-Z and Shawn Combs raped her. Her dad said he had no recollection of this incident. And clearly a dad, as he said, would remember something this serious, this egregious. So I think there are some serious questions that need to be answered. And the way you get those questions answered when you are a defendant in a lawsuit is by filing the kind of motion that I anticipate we'll see filed by Jay-Z's law firm, because there are questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, has been vocal in challenging the credibility of the allegations. He described the accuser's story as provably, demonstrably false, citing the aforementioned inconsistencies and emphasizing the lack of corroborative evidence. Spiro stated, "It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true, it's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened."
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive. She points out the tattoo. She talks about the tattoo in vivid detail. Turns out that's completely false. And the father is supposed to be picking her up. 10-hour drive, round trip to pick her up in the middle of the night. Has no memory of that. No one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
Jay-Z has good reason to ask for this case to be dismissed. The accuser came out and did an interview. Now, we didn't get to see her face. We didn't get to learn her name. But in the interview, she gave some statements that were inconsistent with the statements that, or the accusations, I should say, that are made in her lawsuit. And it does raise serious questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Jay-Z himself has vehemently denied the allegations, referring to them as a blackmail attempt and expressing frustration over the damage to his reputation. He emphasized his support for true victims of misconduct, stating, "My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world."
Rap and media mogul Jay-Z now accused of a 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Shawn Diddy Combs. Now, this lawsuit was originally filed back in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as the defendant, but it was just refiled today to include Jay-Z now, whose real name is Shawn Carter. Of course, he's the husband of Beyonce.
This morning, disturbing new claims against music icon Jay-Z. A civil lawsuit detailing sexual assault, originally brought against his longtime friend Shawn Diddy Combs, now adding new allegations against the rapper whose real name is Shawn Carter, claims both men deny. The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs after-party she says Combs hosted in 2000. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink from a waitress that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched.
The legal case was filed by attorney Tony Busby, who is also representing multiple other claimants against Diddy. The plaintiff, identified only as Jane Doe, seeks anonymity, which Jay-Z's legal team has challenged, arguing for the case's dismissal or disclosure of the accuser's identity to ensure fairness.
This whole lawsuit is significant for several reasons. First of all, this lawsuit was filed by Tony Busby. This is that Texas attorney who claims to represent over 100 alleged victims of Shawn Combs, and he indicated in the past that he would name names. And there was reporting, particularly by TMZ, that high-profile people had reached out to him to settle claims so that they wouldn't be listed in lawsuits. They wouldn't be named in lawsuits.
The day will come when we will name names other than Shawn Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Shawn Diddy Combs, who is currently facing federal charges for racketeering and trafficking, has also denied the allegations. His legal team described the claims as part of a series of unfounded accusations against him.
Although several of these events occurred at auditions, many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Shawn Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Shawn Combs.
The attorney argues that Diddy's actions took advantage of the vulnerability of these young individuals who were eager to make their mark in the entertainment industry. Busby's statements suggest a troubling power dynamic in which Diddy allegedly used his authority to cross boundaries, casting a shadow over the opportunities he offered and raising serious ethical and legal questions about his conduct.
You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI.
That's too expensive for outside counsel, is it not?
I would think it's
Yeah, I mean, even if, we have some world-class, probably the world-class lawyers here, they're only getting paid $500 an hour.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah. What's your rate?
Huh?
What's your rate?
Well, you'll find out soon enough.
Federal authorities are preparing for a significant expansion of the case against Diddy, as they now estimate that as many as 120 additional victims may come forward with testimonies. The recent revelations are both extensive and deeply troubling, spanning several decades and suggesting a prolonged pattern of misconduct that may have gone unchecked. Allegations include claims that some victims were as young as 9 years old, highlighting serious concerns about the vulnerability of minors and the potential exploitation within the entertainment industry.
There's new allegations against Shawn P. Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney says he now represents, get this, 120 alleged victims, male and female, adults and children, whose allegations span more than 30 years. The accounts of the alleged victims have not been fully vetted, but their claims involve drug-fueled sexual assaults similar to what the feds described in their criminal indictment of the music mogul. Diddy's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy charges. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Attorney Tony Busby has disclosed that 25 underage victims have filed individual lawsuits against Diddy, each alleging various forms of misconduct. According to Busby, these cases are not part of a single class action suit, but rather separate individual filings, emphasizing the personal nature of each victim's experiences and claims. This structure allows each case to be addressed on its specific merits, providing each victim an opportunity to present their unique account within the legal process.
You talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred. It's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer.
The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, has come under scrutiny for his handling of the case. Jay-Z previously filed a lawsuit against Busby, alleging attempts at extortion by threatening to go public with the allegations unless a financial settlement was reached. Busby has denied these claims, asserting that he sought only a confidential mediation.
A lot of people allowed it to go on, said nothing, didn't intervene, maybe benefited from it, profited from it. All of these individuals and entities, in my view, have exposure here.
He's actually sent demand letters saying this is what we know you're involved in. He's saying involved in the sense that even if they didn't drug somebody or participate in that, he feels like they're liable to a point where they should pay up.
Saw the latest development yesterday that Jay-Z's lawyer wants the woman who accused him of sexual assault to reveal her identity. What does the law say when you have a minor? This woman was abused when she was a minor, age 13. Now, all these years later, can they force the woman to reveal her identity?
Yeah, it's an open question. Different jurisdictions take a different approach to this question. We've seen several high-profile celebrities go into court and ask a judge to force a plaintiff, a victim, an alleged victim of rape or sexual assault, to reveal herself.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors, and if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
Busby, known for representing numerous clients in high-profile misconduct cases, including those against NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson, maintains that his client's claims are credible, despite the acknowledged inconsistencies. He stated, "Courts exist to resolve factual disputes. Our client remains adamant about her claim."
A male celebrity who remains anonymous is suing the Houston attorney who's representing several people in lawsuits against Shawn Diddy Combs. The lawsuit accuses Tony Busby and his firm of shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly false, horrific allegations against him. Now, on Instagram, Busby denied the claims against him, saying that his firm won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence sexual assault survivors.
And basically saying that Jay-Z was the high-profile celebrity that was recently suing him. So Tony Busby says this in a statement regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed this frivolous case using a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation.
The emerging inconsistencies in the accuser's statements have significantly weakened the case against Jay-Z, prompting legal experts to suggest that the lawsuit might soon be dismissed. With key details, such as the location, witness accounts, and timeline, being questioned and proven unreliable, Jay-Z's legal team is confident that the case lacks sufficient evidence to proceed. This development could also indirectly benefit Diddy, as the accuser's credibility comes into question across the board.
I mean, it's shocking. I mean, also, you have to remember, when they were coming up or in their 20s and 30s, we're all allowed to grow and to evolve and to be, better versions of ourselves, especially as we, grow up. But it is just shocking. This allegation just popped up and he goes back to look at what I've built. This is not my character. I'm heartbroken for my family. This does not align with my moral code. We have a code of ethics, and I would never hurt a or never hurt a child. So he's denied this full-heartedly.
There are a lot of questions that people have after reading the lawsuit, hearing about the lawsuit. Shawn, I've just got to fire some at you because I'm a bit confused. The filing and then the refiling, is that a normal thing? What's going on with that?
Yes and no. We have a statute that allows, when you're talking about sexual assault, you can file as a Jane Doe, or you don't have to name a person if you don't want to. Is it normal? No, but the law allows it. So, normally that does not happen. Now, one of the things that I think came out, Jay-Z's statement that flat out said, fair is fair. You're suing me, let me know who my accuser is, stop being anonymous, show your damn face, show yourself, because in America, we are allowed to face our accusers. And so you have filed a suit against me anonymously. The damage is done. Everybody is talking about my reputation. I need to now know who you are, and I think that's fair, I really do, because he should be allowed to do his research. Was this 13-year-old girl actually at the party? Was he there at the same time at the party? Where the heck were this person's parents? How can I fight these allegations if I don't know who you are?
I would not connect. I'd be loath right now to connect the P. Diddy case with Jay-Z. And for one really big reason, and then other smaller reasons. The big reason is in the Diddy Combs case, they're arguing that he set up this entire criminal enterprise. And part of this enterprise were these freak-offs. That's not being suggested in the Jay-Z case. The Jay-Z case is suggesting, at least the accusation is, he was at this party that P. Diddy was throwing, and that there was a sexual assault that occurred, and that Jay-Z committed it. Completely different circumstances, completely different situation. Do I know if it could go there and something could happen? We don't know at this point, as you said.
What are your thoughts on this shocking update? Do you think the inconsistencies in the accuser's claims will lead to the case being dismissed for Jay-Z and Diddy? Share your opinions in the comments below.